again, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the MonkeyBoy Presents DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss. And today we have the second special edition figure in the line, Doomsday. And as I said in the teaser for this figure from the last issue, I'm very excited about this one because this is a little bit more of what I expect from a special edition figure. Not that Darkseid was bad. He was just not as detailed as I would have liked. You know, they went with the old school Golden Age look, and I get it, it's fine. But at least he met the size requirement that I have. He was huge and heavy and well done for what he was. But Doomsday here is very, very impressive. There are very few things about this figure that I don't like. Also, really quickly, I want to take a moment here and point out the fact that I'm not reviewing the packaging for this figure because, for whatever reason, he came in one of the standard blister boxes like the regular DC Eaglemoss figures do. I don't know what the reasoning was behind this. There's not even a slip cover for the box, like Darkseid had that slip cover with the art and his name on the outside. Nothing like that for Doomsday, so unless I got swindled, and someone out there can tell me that they are out there, this figure has nothing special with his packaging, so I'm not even going to cover it. Anyway, we will cover the magazine for this special edition figure, giving you everything you need to know about this character, which is probably quite a bit, because they actually did create a backstory for this character later on, which is sort of weird. They came up with the character, then they came up with his backstory. Anyway, then we will cover the figure itself, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's a really nice figure. He's gigantic, as you're about to see. Thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the DC Comics Superhero Collection Special Edition number 2, Doomsday. First up, we have the character section. And it's here that we learn, long before he ever battled with Superman in Metropolis, 250,000 years ago, he was created, more or less, by a scientist known as Bertrand, who was obsessed with creating the ultimate being. So Bertrand used this child as his guinea pig, throwing it out into the wilderness to these wild beasts and creatures and things. And of course the child was ripped to pieces, and he went out, collected the pieces, took it back into his little bunker, and cloned the child over and over and over again. And each new baby underwent a physical change in order to survive. He forced evolution on it, basically. So after Doomsday flies off into the universe, we learn that he encountered many beings long before he ever met Superman, including Darkseid, and the Guardians of the Universe, and the then very young Green Lantern Corps. Guardians managed to beat back Doomsday only after one of the Guardians sacrificed his life to open a temporal anomaly, basically, a black hole, that sent Doomsday hurtling through space and time, covering thousands of light years, and he ended up on this scientifically advanced world known as Palatron, where he waged just a war, basically, a single war against the entire planet for 3 years before they finally stopped. So that's basically where Doomsday came from and how he managed to land here on Earth hundreds of thousands of years ago, and I think pretty much everyone knows the story of Superman versus Doomsday, so I really won't spend a lot of time on that. The only thing I do want to mention, though, is Booster Gold is the character that came up with Doomsday's name. We learn that after he's hurled into space on this asteroid, he ends up crash landing back on Apokolips and having a rematch with Darkseid. it's also during this time period that we learn Doomsday is still evolving. He's learning, he's growing more intelligent with the more beings he encounters and more defeats he suffers. The last couple pages catch us up with where Doomsday was, at least at the time of this publication, with the Justice League kind of keeping him in a permanent state of flux by looping him between 4 different teleporters from the Watchtower, so he is constantly being beamed from one teleportation device to the other, so he can't get free. We also see briefly Superman and Doomsday fighting together against the evil known as Imperiex. Next up, we get 3 of Doomsday's classic storylines. First, we have Superman, the Man of Steel, number 18. And this, in a nutshell, is Doomsday's big reveal. This is the first time we see the full form of the character. He had been teased for months as nothing but this green fist pounding against this iron door, basically trying to break free. And it's interesting to note for the entire issue, we never see him outside of that green, almost Frankensteinian-looking outfit. Next up we have Superman Doomsday, Hunter Prey. And this is the story that basically told you who Doomsday was. This is your backstory. This is the origin of Doomsday and how he came to be. We meet the scientist Bertrand, and we see him traveling through the galaxy. Finally, we have Superman, the Doomsday Wars. And this story sees another return of Doomsday, but this time Brainiac is the one pulling the strings, or so he thinks. He's brought Doomsday back, he's continued to evolve him, and now Doomsday can speak, he can think, and he actually double-crosses Brainiac in this tale. It's a really fun read. Next up, we meet some of the other characters in Doomsday's life in the Allies and Enemies section. Also on the second page, there's a really great picture of Imperiex. Doomsday's iconography section features some of the other evil galactic beings that are out there. We meet the alien warlord known as Mongol. Now this is the one who is responsible for the leveling of Coast City. We also meet the Destroyer of Universes, the being known as the Anti-Monitor. We also are introduced to an evil alternate universe version of the Clark Kent Superboy, Superboy Prime. Finally, the being made of pure fear itself, Parallax, and this is the same creature that had once possessed Green Lantern Hal Jordan. Doomsday's original thinking section talks about the impact the character had, not just in the DCU, but also in the real world. It talks about how he was conceived during writers' meetings when there was talk of killing Superman. We learn about how it spawned novelizations and even an animated straight-to-DVD movie, which I own and is actually very, very good. And here we have Doomsday. So as critical as I am of the storyline, I was a huge fan of seeing Superman tackle someone that was finally his physical match. It was really nice to finally see a knockdown, drag-out fight with Superman. And this figure is outstanding. I like the Doomsday character. I like the idea of this just unstoppable killing machine in the DCU. You know, they've never really had that necessarily. So it's a nice addition as far as villains is concerned. And this guy is what a special edition figure should be. This is what was lacking with the Darkseid one, in my opinion. Not only is he huge, he weighs a ton as well, because of course he's solid lead. but just the amount of detail on him is spectacular. All of the bones poking out of him like armor or a shell or something, and he's just massive. He's absolutely massive. I love his back. It's just gross and awesome, and I mean, look at all those bones and things just protruding through his skin. And I mean, if you ever had someone breaking into your house or your apartment or something, you could pick this thing up off the shelf and throw it at someone or use it as like a weapon, because he's just nasty. He's hard too. I mean, these things are sharp. They hurt. Those big jagged things off of his shoulders. Love the pose and the cape. The fact that he's holding Superman's torn up cape and that it's coming through his knuckle bones are like ripping through the cape. It's fantastic. The facial details, everything about this guy is great. You'll see more here in the pictures. I will stop droning on and on and on. Doomsday stands atop the DC logo, and on the underside of his oversized base is his name in a couple different languages along with serial number. And just so you can see, I have pictures of him here with the Man of Steel. As well as the first special edition figure, Darkseid. As you can see from those pictures, he is gigantic, and that's what I expect from the special edition line of figures. You know, Darkseid was big, but this guy is huge. I mean, he's just bulky, he's heavy, he's very, very, very well detailed. All of the, you know, rocky, bony protrusions from his back are just gnarly and awesome to just look at and check out. All of the spikes coming off of his elbows and his kneecaps, really, really cool stuff. His hair flowing down his back actually goes down into the many ridges of the bones back there. It's really nice detail. And then the cape, the fact that he's holding the cape is really, really cool. The fact that he's got the green shorts and the green boots, just like the comic book, and there are metallic pieces on those shorts, the belt and the little lining, I guess, around the shorts there. It's a deep metallic paint. It's really nice. The pulp pose is classic. It's striking. It's straight off the cover of that Hunter Prey series. It's really, really nice. Love the amount of detail, the color scheme. He looks nasty, he looks mean, and I love the ripped up cape. It's a really nice touch. The bad. The only criticism I have of the figure is the face. He is not very well detailed in the face. He's got the bones and things on it, and the bones over his eyes. He does have black on red eyes, but they're very hard to see, and other than that, there's really no other detail. I mean, his mouth is just this gray kind of mass that's sitting there. It's just okay, but overall that's a minor nitpick when you're looking at this figure. He's insane. The ugly, there's nothing ugly on the figure except for the fact that he's just ugly to start with. There's nothing fragile about him. Like I said, he could do some damage. If you're ever in desperate need of a weapon, you can use him for sure. Overall, I love this figure. He is a special edition. He's a must-have if you're a fan of Superman. He's the only one that's really ever stood toe-to-toe to him. And he just keeps getting more and more menacing here as the years go on. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this special edition figure. Stay tuned for a quick teaser trailer for the next regular issue in the series, number 17 we're on already, my goodness. As always, I am your host, the Monkey Boy. Thank you for watching.